All right. How's it, everybody? It is 5 p.m. West Coast time, 2 p.m. in Hawaii, and 8 p.m. on the East Coast. 7 p.m. for all our favorite Central Time folk. Yes, sirree. I am Mad Statter. This is Chatter with Statter. And we have got a little show today. And I'm super stoked to see that we have got folks already hanging out in the chatter box. Darlene, looks like you're here saying hello to everyone. Pacola T, happy hump day to you too. All right, we have got Darlene and Pacola T. And you know what else we have? We actually have that little gear probably right around here. So if Twitch is twitchy, I don't think it's me this time. I've got 0 dropped frames for the first time in many, many, many streams. And I've got some green dots indicating my flow is good to go. Now, whether or not you can receive my flow, different story. That's why you need that gear to adjust your situation as need be, because we've got that gear today and we are here today. So let's get this party started, shall we? All right, excelente. Cool, Darlene says, I seem to run better when we get that gear. I think we all do. I think we all do. Looks like we've got E-Music in the house. Awesome. Good to see you. And Rick, as always, acting as the moderator here. The sword of no mercy right by his name. Yes, sirree. Pacola T had your Metamucil today to keep the flow going. You know the secret. You know the secret. So fun. So fun. All right. So I have a question, you guys, that honestly, I couldn't answer because I'm old fashioned and I don't know of all of these newfound things. So I have a question for folks out there who might use baking pans, right? Okay. So I have a friend who's learning how to cook. And Rick, the answer is 42. Well, you might be right, actually, but hold on, let me get to the question first. So I have a friend, he's learning to cook, and when I say he's learning to cook, I mean like maybe a year ago, probably more than a year ago. Anyway, not that long ago, he posted on Facebook a question about like, what is the deal with recipes that have you cook some of the ingredients, remove them from the pan, cook more ingredients, blah, blah, blah. I can't remember how he worded it. The ultimate question was, his question was, I thought that cooking was just heating food up so you could eat it. Why can't you just all throw it in the pan all at once? Now, anybody who knows about searing, sauteing, cooking, this, and everybody, there's a lot of reasons. There's a lot of answers to his question of why you just can't throw everything in the pot and cook it all at once. It's not going to turn out right. And he has slowly but surely understood that with some things, you know, you have to fry it separately, remove it from the pan, fry the other thing, then make the sauce, and then put it all together. Like he's finally mastered that. But just not that long ago, he was at the point where he thought cooking was merely heating food up, you know? I mean, and it is a little bit more than that. So now he's learning how to do fancy pantsy stuff. Like slowly but surely he's figured out how to do stuff. He's got this recipe for cornbread that he sort of put together that I'm really interested in trying because he uses brown sugar instead of white sugar, and brown sugar with cornbread sounds like it would be really good to me. So he's learning and he's even creating some things. In fact, I've looked at his pictures of the egg foo young that he's been cooking for himself lately, because what he does is he'll like pick a thing. Like once he picked cornbread, now he's on the egg foo young. Actually, now he's on a different thing, but he'll make it over and over again until he's mastered it, right? So, Pacola tea, exactly. You cook the ingredients separately because of different cooking times and to keep flavors distinct. And some things you want to have that good sear, other things you don't need that. So, you know, there's a lot of reasons why you need to follow the instructions when cooking, right? Okay, so This is the foundation of the guy that I'm talking about here. He's slowly mastering things and stuff, but he didn't have any baking sheets. And there's this one thing that he's doing, I won't get into. It's lamb's wool. If you've ever heard of lamb's wool, then you'll maybe know why I'm asking. If you haven't heard of lamb's wool, it actually doesn't matter for this story. Anyway, in order to make lamb's wool, you need to bake some apples. And he didn't have a baking sheet. And so he was asking me, like, what is the best baking sheet to use? And he showed me all of these different sheets, right? And quite honestly, I have to say, I was a little confused because to me, a baking sheet is a baking sheet is a baking sheet. It doesn't really matter, right? So, like, let me tell you what I'm talking about here. Okay, so that's a baking sheet to me, right? I mean, like, there you go. That's what my cookie sheets, that's what my baking sheets, that's what they've always looked like. And I didn't really know that there's newfangled baking sheets, you guys. Newfangled baking sheets. Check this out. Like, some of them have ridges. Now, I think that wouldn't work for my cookies. I don't really want my cookies to have ridged bottoms, but they say that the ridges make airflow and cooking better. And then some of them are all textured like this, once again, for the airflow and the quote-unquote cooking better, right? You know, whereas I'm just all about the smooth bottom. Thank you very much. So anyway, he going to go buy these pans, he was asking me, well, what are good ones? Should I get the corrugated ones? Should I get the textured ones? Should I get the flat ones? And I was just like, dude, I only have ever used the flat ones in my life, so I can't even begin to tell you what to use. And Rick, exactly, starting out, we just got cheap ones and they all warp after some heat. That's kind of been my experience, even with like some expensive baking pans, they all eventually warp. And so to me, it's just like, dude, just go to the dollar store and buy the cheap ones. And if you don't want the weird non-stick whatever, or, you know, like, just use parchment paper, right? But he definitely didn't want any aluminum pans. He didn't want any non-stick pans. He just wanted some stainless steel pans, but he just wasn't sure, corrugated or not. And Darlene, right, my cookie sheets, actually, to tell you the truth, I haven't baked a cookie in so long. I actually don't even know where my cookie sheets are. I know they're somewhere in the house. I thought I had them in that drawer under the oven. And I was going to lend my friend some of my baking sheets because he doesn't have any baking sheets in the house, which I found to be so weird because it's like, who doesn't have a baking sheet? Well, I guess my friend doesn't. Okay. So he's off to go buy some, but he wanted to know which ones were the good ones. And yeah, that's pretty much what I can answer him. So I'm just wondering, you guys, if anyone has any input, like the corrugated kind or like the textured kind, or like I just prefer the plain kind. And Picola tea, you better believe it, man. Some kind of liner is important, makes cleanup easier, and protects pan from burn stains without a doubt. Let's see here. Rick, tell him not to use those glass cooking pans for high temp cooking. He doesn't have any glass pans either, actually, because I did say to him, because remember, he needs to bake some apples. Now, the apples that he needs to bake are literally apples in their skin with the core taken out of them. You know, they're whole apples for the most part. And I was like, well, why don't you just use a Pyrex dish to bake the apples in? You don't have to bake it on like the recipe says, bake it on a baking pan, but the apples just need to be baked. You can bake them on a Pyrex dish if you've got. He doesn't even have a Pyrex dish. So no worries, Rick. He won't be baking anything in the glass cooking pans. So, and let's see here, Rick, you'd microwave them apples. Well, funny you should say this. So this particular recipe for lamb's wool's a drink, by the way. Hey, Poppy Shaney, how you doing? So we're talking about cooking pans right now, and whether or not the flat kind are better than the ridged kind, are better than the textured kind. And it looks like Darlene's coming in with, I prefer the flat ones like you showed, but one of the textured, one for meat roasting or vegetable roasting, but not for cookie baking. Exactly, like the texture on the bottom, that just would mess up my cookies. And I feel like the cookies would stick more. So let's see here. And Pocola T says, you're a flat pan gal. Ridges sound weird except for roasting stuff. See, okay. And Wolfie Fat Gaming, aloha. We are talking about baking pans, oddly enough. So we've got your traditional flat, which I am a fan of. Then we've got these newfangled corrugated ones, which apparently do help with, they say it'll help nonstick. It helps with more even baking because of airflow. And they say that the corrugated stuff helps the pan to keep from warping. I don't know how true that is because I've never used it because I'm one of these types of peoples. I'm old fashioned that way. But then there's also these textured kind. And so, let's see here, Poppy Shaney. Oh my, you're talking about baking, cooking, and I'm not good at any of these. That's okay, because actually where this conversation came from was from someone who wasn't very good at cooking. And so he is slowly but surely picking up bits of info as needed. And so he was asking me these baking sheets, should I get the ridged? Should I get the flat? What I eventually told him was, why don't you buy 2 pans, buy a flat and buy a ridged, see which one you like better. And he thought, oh, that's a good idea. Because I couldn't give him any info and the show wasn't going to be for another couple days. So I wasn't able to ask you guys all this question. Trust me though, I will be getting back to him with what we talk about here. And so, so let's see here. E-Music coming in with some good info. The shinier the cookie sheet, the faster cookies will burn. The type of cookies could mean fancier pans. Okay. And Rick, I like how you're thinking. The ridge kind for large amounts of bacon. Okay, I definitely can see the logic of that. And let's see here. Okay. So Wolfpack Gaming, right. You have nailed it right there. I like the flat surface. I feel it gives the cookies a nice golden bottom. Right. And I cannot imagine biting into a cookie that doesn't have a nice flat golden bottom. I mean, golden bottom cookies are what make the world go round, right? A cookie with a ridged bottom or a textured bottom, I don't know if I want my cookie to have cellulite on its bottom. You know what I'm saying? So let's see here. Let's see here. Poppy Shaney coming in, acting like he knows what he's talking about. Pocola T, yeah, that's right. The flat pan. Ridge pans are the worst. I have no clue about this. That's good. I love it. This is it. And Rick, yeah, you like watching a good cook. Precisely. Absolutely. It's wonderful to be able to watch folks and just be like, oh, okay. I think I see how they did that. Because, oddly enough, some of the simplest things can actually be some of the most difficult things, like sauteing or getting a good golden sear on mushrooms. Instead of just, turning the mushrooms into some wilted, soggy brown sponges, not gray sponges, brown sponges, you can actually get a little sear on the mushroom, but you'd think it would be easy. Yeah, you kind of need to know what you're doing in order to do that. And it's taken me a long time to figure out how to do that. And so let's see here, Wolfie Pack, you've been told that you should do some live cooking. Got to fix our kitchen floor first. Shoot, dude, if you figure out how to do some live cooking, I would be so stoked to figure out how you set your situation up. Because I have a couple things that I've considered, like trying to video and not necessarily do a live stream of cooking, but like to do a video to show on the live stream. And just trying to set up the camera angles alone is next to impossible. Although I saw a cool device that I don't know if like it is made to do this or if the content creators are modifying something to do this, but it's, you know, those little knobby tripods that are like sort of bendable legs to go wherever. Well, they had one like around their neck, and then it like kind of came out, and so they could see what they were filming, and it, you know, it was like basically their cell phone was held by this little contraption right in front of them, so they could see what they were filming, and they're chopping and they're cooking or whatever. And I thought that would be cool, but I have no idea what that piece of equipment is called, where to get that piece of equipment, or even if that piece of equipment is made to do what they did with it, or if they modified something to do it. So, yeah, anyway, that's how that is. And so, Wolfie Fat Gaming, okay, the ridge ones are great for meat and vegetables. Right. Okay. But not necessarily the cookies. Okay. Let's see here. Picola tea cookie or a biscuit if you're British. Can't ever wrap my brain around that. I always think Southern flaky roll when you hear biscuit. So check this out. That's kind of one of my friends from Derby who lives in the UK. He spent so much time in the USA doing Derby that when he went back to England, he realized he had kind of an existential crisis on the phrase biscuits and tea. Because in the UK, biscuits and tea are hot tea with a cookie. But in the southern US, biscuits with tea is sweet iced tea with a bread roll. And so it took him a long time when he got back to England, when people used the phrase biscuits and tea, his brain would immediately go to iced tea and, you know, biscuit, like you eat with fried chicken, instead of the traditional English version. So, yeah. So you're not the only one who has that brain problem. And Wolfie Pack, Pyrex is your go-to for cakes and brownies. Yeah, my mom always had a Pyrex pan for brownies and for like the little, 9x13 cakes. So that's just, yeah, that's totally, that's where I'm at too. And hey, JBPC13, good to see you coming in, marching with the mushrooms. I'm talking about frying them up, and you're talking about marching them right into my pan. Let's see here. Poppy Shanny, it's 103 in Northern California. You'll trade me some heat for some rain. I don't want your heat, and I don't have that much rain. So I got nothing for trade. I got nothing. I want the little rain that we have up here. Oh yeah, totally. Wolfie Bat Gaming saying, if I have at least 2 cameras, I can help you. I do and I don't. Well, I guess I do. I have my camera that I've got right there, but then I've also got cell phone cameras, and this cell phone camera isn't that bad. And I think this one's almost as good as this one. So yeah, I might have to hit you up on that. But then again, if you've got inspiration for cooking, maybe you could, once the weather's nice, maybe you could, get a little induction or a propane burner or something, and you can go outside and do a cooking show for us. Because yeah, Darlene's asking, what do you like to cook? I kind of want to know. And Rick, cooking shows, it's all done with mirrors. I wouldn't be surprised at all. I definitely know it's done with some time lapse, as it were. It's just like, oh, look, we're going to put the quiche in the oven. Oh, look, the quiche is ready right now. Look how beautiful that quiche is. Yes. And let's see here. So, Wolfie Pack, you enjoy cooking almost everything. You teach your friends how to cook local style with mainland ingredients. Awesome. And, let's see here. Really, Wolfie Pack Gaming. Okay, so one example is steam cooking your Kahlua pig. It comes out just like it would out of the ground every time. Interesting. See, yeah, that would be an excellent, I think that would be an excellent cooking video to make because, not a lot of people have a big hole in the ground where they can cook a pig. You know what I'm saying? So, a little shortcut like that is exactly what you'd want to do. And Picola T, hanging a camera around your neck sounds like it could lead to shots that would betray you, like mirror pics that betray you. That's a really, 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 really good point, Picola T. Like, really good point. Yeah. Let's see here. You just made Darlene a big pot of homemade beef and vegetable stew. It's a rainy, gray day. Well, I'm going to tell you, enjoy your rainy, gray days when you can, because as you've seen in California, without enough rainy, gray days, your land is on fire. And I don't really want to make Poppy Shaney super poor, but frankly, I'd like it if Poppy Shaney didn't have a job, because why do we need to have everything on fire? Put the fire out. How about we have no more fire? That's what I would like. I realize that's not within the realm of possibility. And so Poppy Shaney will be adequately employed for a long time now. But wouldn't it be awesome if we could just put Poppy Shaney out of business because there was no more fires? Yeah. And Vanilla Coke Pepsi, good to see you here today. You're saying it's almost summertime in Canada, which is a huge vibe and aesthetic. Well, apparently it's already summer in the Northern California area. It's 103 degrees there today. And I'm not trying to be judgmental, but I judge that to be too hot. That is right. Too hot. And let's see here. Okay, so JBCP13, we do the New Zealand Hangin. I don't know if I pronounced that right. You use a 55-gallon drum and heat steam the food. Okay. And yeah, Vanilla Coke Pepsi, by the way, we are sort of talking about cooking. We're talking about specifically what we started talking about was whether or not flat pans are better than textured pans are better than what's the other one? Corrugated pans. And then, well, it went from there. And oh good, Poppy Shaney, you agree. You don't want you want to be out of a job too. Yes, exactly. It's a horrible, horrible thing to wish for you, but I think you understand the larger picture here. And let's see here. Darlene, yeah, some say there's no climate change. I have to laugh. I remember when I was in 7th grade, being introduced to the concept of, at that time, they were calling it global warming. And I remember my social studies teacher telling me about it, or telling the class about it. And his attitude was, the science has been settled. This is happening. But he also acknowledged that lots of people didn't agree that it was happening, even though the science was indicating otherwise, and that it was a controversial topic. And I thought it was weird, but okay, I'm 12. I believe what the teacher says, and I should have, because it's true. So I was 12 when that happened. Well, I'm 48 now, so do the math. And people are still insisting, 36 years later? I think that's the math. 36 years later? They're still insisting it's not happening, despite all of the record-breaking everything that is going on. And to me, it's just look, I understand if you have economic interests that make you want to deny it or whatever, or that make you want to say, well, how do you know it's humans that are doing it? Okay, I'll give you that question. I'll let you ask that question. But let me ask you, let's just say humans aren't doing it. Let's just say this is part of a natural cycle. Shouldn't we at least still prepare for it? I mean, regardless of the cause, shouldn't we be doing something about it? I don't know. Investing in better infrastructure, water, this, that. I mean, if we you have to at least, if you're not going to recognize humans are responsible, we've got to recognize that it does at least exist, right? I mean, whether or not you're going to agree on the cause, I'll give you that question. I mean, I'm rolling my eyes, but I'll give you that question. But to just deny that it even exists or that it's happening, it just doesn't make sense to me. What? Are your eyes open? That's it's just, I don't know. And so let's see here. So, so Darlene, in so many areas, there's quite a bit of change. Vanilla Coke Pepsi, if climate change exists, why is it cold outside? Well, okay, I think what you really were trying to ask is if global warming exists, why is it cold outside? And they actually have stopped calling it global warming just for that reason, because if it's getting warmer in one place, it's getting colder in another. For instance, like I was just saying, it'd be awesome if we could put Poppy Shaney out of a job, because the West Coast and the west of the United States, the west part of North America, basically, well, no, the southwest part of the continent of North America is huge drought, huge, on fire. But Oregon, the northern part of Oregon, Washington, and British Columbia, we're actually suffering through colder than normal seasons and temperatures. Our temperatures have been skewing downward. So, it's just the climate extremes are getting more extreme. And so it's not really necessarily that there's global warming. There is climate change, and our weather is just getting more extreme. Right, exactly, Vanilla Pepsi. The world has always been warming up and heating up like the Ice Age. Absolutely. And so knowing that, and knowing that people in Phoenix are running out of water because Lake Powell is at its lowest levels ever, and the Colorado River quite literally does not have enough water to support the cities that depend on its water flow. It doesn't matter if it's humans that are causing that change or not. We need to deal with that functional reality. And so there just seems to be so much a lack of action for so many incredibly important, ultimately national security reasons. Because if we can't keep our water supply to our largest cities going, that's a huge infrastructure fail, And so, first time chat, Nico How TV. Awesome. I'm glad that you think that. Unfortunately, I believe in this thing called science, and I'm not so sure that you are talking about science. And I can honestly say, as someone who's probably older than you, I've witnessed change in my own lifetime. So change happens. In fact, the only thing that stays the same is the fact that change is going to happen. So, Nico How TV, you're so cute. You think you know it all, but you're just not really. I mean, like I said, it doesn't matter whether or not humans are causing the problem. It's still going to be a problem. If there's no water, like there is no water in a lot of places, there's no water. So there you have it. Oh, wow, dude. I bet you're vaccinated. That's hysterical. So Mariana, exactly. Climate change is happening no matter what's causing it. It's just like, come on, dude, And so, it looks like you came in during a very interesting conversation. Well, Mariana, honestly, we were talking about right before this, and Mariana, you know how, chatter scatters here. So check this out. Right before you came in, hey Elaine, good to see you. Right before you came in, you know what we were talking about? We were talking about cooking pans. And whether or not the ridged ones or the textured ones or the flat ones were the best. And so as you can tell, boy, oh boy, as you can tell, that chatter just went boing. Boing, we got it. So, yeah. And then Mariana, you're preaching to the choir here. Mariana's saying it's pretty naive and ignorant to believe that humans have had no effect on the climate with how much pollution is created daily and has been for several decades. Yeah. And actually, what was it during the pandemic lockdown? Like it took like 2 weeks before the air pollution in India cleared, and suddenly everybody's like, "Oh wow, dude, you can see Mount Everest from here. I haven't been able to see Mount Everest for like decades. Trippy." And so, yeah, it's pretty amazing how quickly things can dissipate as well, which is nice because it means that, maybe recovery is happening or can happen. But like I said, regardless of whether or not humans are even causing this, it still seems like we've got some trends that we need to be dealing with, like this whole lack of water to major cities like Los Angeles and Phoenix. Now, I know Los Angeles and Phoenix, they're like tiny backwater towns no one's heard of, right? Yeah, right. That's how that works. So, I know, right, Mariana? I have no idea, but whatever. So, Nikkei TV, you're really funny. Anyway, though, so now, because chatter, with statter, yeah, exactly. Thank you, Poppy Shaney, for coming in. We really do try not to label people here with names like liberal, conservative, etc. Be cool and enjoy the people here. We are low key, nice, polite, and respectful. And so, I definitely have been known, and as Vanilla Coco says, on Andy's stream, no politics. On Mad Statter's political debates left and right. Well, to a degree, but but I do like to keep the talk to actually talk as opposed to name calling, because that doesn't get get anything. This doesn't further the conversation per se. So, Vanilla Coke Pepsi, I like your conclusion after what he just wrote, because that is pretty much like, if there ever was a big neon sign that declares that would be what that would be. But that's cool. Anyway, let's just say, all right, so many thoughts. So we're talking about how things don't change and how things are never going to change and things are changing and things aren't changing. But guess what, guys? Things are kind of changing. As I've been saying for the last several streams, if you've been here before, you know that I talk about orcas and I talk about the whales. And it is Wednesday, so I figure why not talk about whales on Wednesday, especially when I've got some things to say about whales. So, as you guys know, we've got a couple different pods of whales that hang out in the Puget Sound, and they're becoming more and more numerous. I can honestly say in my 45 years? No, not 45. 43 years that I've lived in the area, I have never seen so many whale videos, whale encounters so close to shore. And last week we got a couple different we lucked out basically. So I've got a video for you here, and I'm going to share the video, and then because you guys know I love my maps, I'll be showing you some maps. But first, let's watch the video.
There it is.
Oops, the video ended. Okay, so that video, oops, hold on. Oh, God dang it, so many buttons. All right, so that video was of an orca, and that orca was a Biggs transient. He's T65A5. And no quote me on this, but I think what that means is T65 had a baby, and T65A was that baby. And then T65A had babies. And so T65A5 is T65A's fifth baby. That's what I think. Fifth baby. And so he's an 8-year-old orca who's been known to wander off on his own. And unfortunately, he got stuck in the lagoon overnight because apparently the tide went out and he couldn't get out. And so he was stuck in the lagoon and all night. But then when the tide came back in, he was able to swim away. And this happened in Port Angeles. And Port Angeles is right where the eyeglasses are. And so, like I said, I promised maps. And not only did I promise maps, Rick promised. He fired a warning shot, and then Rick had to pull another trigger. So that was super awesome. Rick and Shock, thank you so much for that. Hey, we tried, but whatever. So thanks so much, Shock, for coming in, tuning in from somebody else's living room. Is what I'm trying to say. Here we go. And eMusic, Poppy Shaney, thank you so much for gifting that sub to eMusic. And let's see here. Okay, so it is Whale Wednesday. That's right. You got it, you guys. Here. Okay, yeah, it is Whale Wednesday, but we're not done with Whale Wednesday yet. Check this out. I've got another video. Yay! Okay, cool. Good for the warning, Rick. He just got a timeout for this. He might be back. All right. We'll keep we'll know. We'll all know. So Vanilla Coke Cups, the orcas are the best whales. Other whales scare you? Well, it's funny you should say that because Photo Luke is super scared of orcas. And I was like, oh, that's silly. And then the more I started telling him how silly it was, the more I realized, yeah, actually, that's not very silly. Orcas are kind of mean. So, I understand why you think that because I think that too, but I think we might be stupid. Just so you know, we might not know what we're talking about. And so, yeah, they're called killer whales for a reason. Exactly. They're not even whales, but the killer part. So though, check this out though. This is super, super awesome. This video happened just a few days ago. And this happened off of the Kitsap Peninsula. The Kitsap Peninsula is a land mass just west of Seattle. It's where I grew up. And dudes, check this video out. It's so flippin' awesome. Dudes. Okay, and so that video was taken. So this is a map because you know how I like maps. This is a map of the Olympic Peninsula. Seattle is on the very far right. And so the little whale that's by the Seattle city, that's where that stuff was. That's where those whales were swimming. And oh my God, dude. And then the other whale on the top, that's where the previous video was filmed. And Vanilla Coke Pepsi. While I can appreciate no, that's not Oregon. It's Washington State. While I can appreciate what you're saying in regards to SeaWorld sounds very American. SeaWorld actually, lots of aquariums across the world have captured orcas. There was a major harvesting of orcas from the Pacific Northwest, actually. The southern residents, the K-pod was especially hard hit. And those whales can literally be found all over the world. And in fact, I believe one of the southern resident whales used to be in Stanley Park in Vancouver, British Columbia. So I have no doubt in my mind that there's at least one whale in captivity in Canada, but my best guess is there's actually more than one. So, and D-Guy, Stu, Netflix or documentary on that, and you will see the harsh reality and cover-ups. I'm not sure what cover-ups you're referring to in regards to the orcas, but thanks so much for coming in. Are you talking about the harvesting in the 60s and 70s? That was pretty brutal, without a doubt. But in regards to, hey there, D-Guy Stu. By the way, I'm Matt Statter. This is Chatter with Statter, and we are talking about whales right now. And so, you guys, though, those whales, now I don't know if those were Biggs transients, if they were southern residents. I don't know what pod they were from. I've been looking for that information. I cannot find it. I don't know. But Darlene, wow, they look really close and they're putting on quite a show. Dude, they were probably in water that was 5 feet deep. You saw how close they were to the shore. You saw the dog on the shore. And honestly, I had not thought about the risk the dog was at until you guys pointed it out. But you are totally correct. That dog absolutely could have been in danger if those were transients. Now, like I said, I don't know if they were the southern residents or if they were the Biggs transients. Biggs transients are the ones that eat the marine animals like the seals. Whereas the southern residents eat they just eat fish. So if they were the southern residents, then the dog wasn't in danger. But if they were the Biggs transients, then the dog might have been in danger. And I know enough to know I can't tell the difference between the two. And D-Guy Stu, yes, actually, on this stream, I have been throwing out some whale knowledge for the past year or so. And in doing so, I've learned a ton about the orcas. So to get you caught up, in the Pacific Northwest, Puget Sound in particular, although actually Oregon, Washington, BC. Okay, so you hail from Bermuda, right? All right, so this is totally not your area of the ocean. You got different stuff in your ocean, right? Yeah. So we've got at least 3 different types of orcas that are in our area. And yes, Rick, I'm about to get on a soapbox. So we've got the northern residents. We've got the resident orcas that are in 2 different, they're described as 2 different sort of family lines. There's the northern ones and they're the southern ones. But all of the resident orcas generally stick closer to shore and they eat only fish. Then you've got the transients, and they are completely different, genetically distinct group of orcas, even though to the untrained eye, like for me and for you, they look the same. But for those who know what they're talking about, they can tell them apart. And the transients, they also stick closer to shore, but not quite like the southern residents. And the residents and the transients never interbreed or do anything together. So the transients, they eat the mammals. And then you've got a third kind of orca, which we haven't talked about on this stream really at all, which is the deep ocean kind. And those are the kind that kill great white sharks. Great white sharks aren't afraid of many things, but they are afraid of orcas. And orcas can do and will kill a great white shark, which is, I don't know, I think it's kind of cool. I saw earlier, Shock was saying that she would, in a fight between an orca and a baleen, she would pick the blue whale over the orca. But I think, okay, now here's where I don't know what I'm talking about. Aren't humpback whales also baleen whales? I think they are. I think they are. And orcas have been known to attack humpback whales, even though humpbacks are like hugely huge. So I don't really know if hugely huge is much of a defense against the orcas. And I do know that some whales really dislike orcas and have been known to protect some animals that have been, getting attacked. Like orcas basically are kind of like the bullies of the sea, from what I can understand, which is really unfortunate because I really like them, but they are kind of bullies. They are. And let's see here. So Vanilla Coke Pepsi, whales and dolphins are pure evil. Well, you do know that killer whales, orcas aren't actually whales. They're actually dolphins. So there's that. And yeah, exactly. Do guys do teeth make the difference? Yep, exactly. And that's exactly it. Roving gang of orcas. They getting what they want. That is precisely it. That is it. So, all right. Now, yeah, okay. So Mariana, a lot of the original whales at SeaWorld were caught in Canada, and or lived in Canada. Yeah, the southern residents, their range where they live is both in Canada and then, the Puget Sound, and then a little bit down in Oregon. They'll go as far south as Oregon. And so, yeah, it's the southern residents that did a lot of their territory is up in Canada. And it's the southern residents that many of those pods had tons of people. No, they didn't have tons of people stolen from them because they're not people. They're whales. They had tons of the pod members were captured and distributed to various and assorted water, aquarium, SeaWorld type places. So it would be nice if, maybe we could reunite the clans, but I don't really know. I think I mentioned this before. I don't really know what kind of success rate we have with repatriating captive whales with their wild family members. I have no idea. So let's see here. And Poppy Shaney says, goes to show, no matter how tough you think you are, there's somebody always a little bit bigger, a little bit better. Mr. Great White, meet Mr. Orca. That's exactly it. And apparently they didn't realize that orcas did that until fairly recently ago. I want to say a decade ago, so I'm sure it was more like 20 years ago, because you know how that works. But there was like a tour boat in Northern California, and they just happened to, I think it might have been a whale watching. I'm not really sure what the tour boat, it might have been a fishing vessel, or I don't really know what the boat was, but it was a bunch of people who paid to go on this boat for sightseeing, and they witnessed an orca, doing some things to that, that great white. And it was the first time that had been documented. Now I'm sure it was not the first time it ever happened. It's just the first time it had been documented. So this is a relatively new behavior to our knowledge, in regards to orcas. So let's see here. Bermuda used to be a harvest place of whale catching for the oil, meat, etc. on the trade ships, which old Bermuda is known for. Orcas, you have no idea of them. Yeah, I think orcas are exclusively northern waters. I think they're more cold water, so that doesn't surprise me, Guy Stew, that you might not, you wouldn't. Those aren't our local whales, Let's see here. You have no idea. Growing up, I used to think the white spot were the eyes. Then one day you saw a close up and you can see an eyeball. You were like, oh, yeah. I can totally see why. Honestly, why isn't the eye in the white spot, right? I mean, obviously, there's reasons for this, but I totally understand what you mean by, I just assumed that the eye was where the white spot was. Yeah, no, it's not how that works, but I'm totally, yeah, I get it. I get why you thought that, for sure, for certain. Okay, so keeping with the whale theme today, I've got one last whale themed thing, and I'm sure you guys know. Oh, I was gonna say, I'm sure you guys know that the music that's in the background is Lono, but there's no music in the background because I've got it muted. All right, we'll fix that. But before we fix that, we're gonna watch a video by Lono, and if you go to his YouTube website and watch this video, you will see it is about a whale.
Iwi Kohola.
All right, there we go. That is our Lono, and now I've got Lono's music in the background. And sorry to Guy Stu, I did not respond as soon as you posted this. I wanted to let the song happen. But thank you so much for hanging out today, and thank you so much for liking and following. I'm super stoked about that. And let's see here, you're gonna have to do math to figure this out on your own, because I don't know what time zone Bermuda is in. But I am broadcasting off of out of the West Coast of the United States, so Seattle time, West Coast time. 5 p.m. every Wednesday and Sunday is when we have this chat show. And then on Saturday nights at 6 p.m. West Coast time, we gather together to watch movies and hang out and chat. I would tell you what we're going to watch this coming Sunday, but I don't remember, so I'm not gonna. Oh, no, I know what I'm going to I remember now. So let's see here. Where did it go? Okay, we're gonna have a stupid movie this Saturday. It's gonna be stupid. Can we see this? It's Return of the Killer Tomatoes. I mean, it's not a thinker. In fact, the more you think about it, the more problems you're probably gonna have with the movie. This is just a stupid cult classic, George Clooney, 1989 movie. Return of the Killer Tomatoes. This was donated to us by Andre, and so there we go. Beautiful. And Guy Stu, I will give you a whisper after the show. The show will end in about a half an hour, and so we can do that. And let's see here. It looks like Shock is throwing down a shout out for Photo Luke. Photo Luke is a content creator who sometimes hangs out here when he's not busy creating his own content. And so thank you so much, Shock, for getting the shout outs organized on my page, because I did not do a good job at that. And thank you so much, Rick, for throwing down the links with Twitch, and Picola T. Lono's hair is always blowing rather romantically in his videos. Yeah, I think he's got a fan that he always has on, and it's totally the it's like what's that guy's name? The model for the romance covers. It reminds me of Fabio's hair blowing in the wind on some cover of some magazine, right? So, and Vanilla Coke Pepsi, you've actually watched that movie and it's so stupid you love it. That's exactly it. It is so stupid. I mean, it is stupid, which is why it's so funny. I mean, you can't look at it and take it seriously. It's just, that's why I got it. And so, let's see here. eMusic, his hair looks, what did you say? Whisper? No, I think his hair looks whiter these days. I think the lighting in, yeah, We'll Be Back Gaming, exactly. Fabio, you know who I was talking about. I think the lighting that Lono's got in his new studio makes his hair glow like white. It's just, I love the white. I think it looks good. And let's see here. Mariana, what movie? You stepped away for a minute. The movie's stupid. The movie is, here we go, Return of the Killer Tomatoes. It's not Attack of the Killer Tomatoes, Vanilla Coke Pepsi. That was the first one. This is the sequel. This is Return of the Killer Tomatoes. This one, this one has George Clooney in it, and it's really dumb. I mean, it is a dumb movie, but it is a dumb movie that I reference so often that basically this is gonna be in my collection. I don't collect a lot of movies, but this one's gonna stay in my collection without a doubt. And so yeah, if you guys want to watch a really dumb movie, I mean, not even worth wasting a brain cell on. It is totally a movie where you can just be like, I'm gonna eat candy and popcorn, and my brain is gonna eat candy and popcorn by watching this too. So yeah, we're gonna be doing that 6 p.m. West Coast time. on Statterbox at the cinema this Saturday. Yes, it is. Yeah. It's not set like Free Willy. That was a movie that had maybe like a real story that you could get into. I mean, I guess this one has a real story that you can get into, but it's so silly. It's just so silly. This is the sequel, Vanilla Coke Pepsi. It's the sequel to the first one. I think the first one is in black and white, I want to say. This is in color. There are 4 of... Vanilla Coke Pepsi is saying that there are 4 of them in the series. I did not know that there was 4 of them. I only thought that there was 2 of them. I thought that this was the second one. I'm going to assume that this is the second one. This one came out in 89, I think. I'm not going to tell you when it came out. I'm going to say it came out in 89, but I suggest you Google that. Yes, I suggest you Google that. Return of the Killer Tomatoes, George Clooney. Possibly one of the dumbest movies ever made, and we're going to watch it together. And Shock throwing down a shout out for Terry in Scotland. For those of you who aren't familiar, Terry in Scotland is a Twitch creator who does European bus driving simulator. Well, maybe it's a truck driving simulator and he chooses the bus. I'm not really sure what the game is called. Either way, it's the cheapest way for you to travel around Europe you can ever find. Hop on the party bus, hang out with us in the back, chatting and talking and laughing, and you'll go from Paris to Luxembourg in just a few hours on the back of the bus. This European truck driving simulator is so amazing and so realistic to the locations that you're at that it is quite literally like being there. And I say this because Terry used to drive the United States version of this game. And whenever I would come into one of his games, one of his streams, and he was driving along an area that I had been, literally every time this happened, I'd be like, oh, you're on eastbound I-90 right around Snoqualmie Pass, aren't you? Because I could tell from the graphics. The graphics are so realistic to where you are at. I could literally walk in the middle of one of his streams and go, and I did this once. Oh, you're in downtown Olympia, aren't you? I used to live around the corner from here. I mean, that is quite literally how realistic these games are. So, if you ever wanted to go to Europe, but you didn't want to get on a plane ride, and you didn't want to pay the money, ride on Terry's bus, dude. It's free, it's fun, and you get to see some stuff. Yes, you do. And, so let's hear Shock shouting out Lono. That is correct. For those who are new on this stream, any and all music you hear on my stream is coming from Lono Music. You can get his albums at lonomusic.com. And if you prefer to just check out some videos like the one that I showed earlier, you can always go to his YouTube channel. And Lono is a great supporter of many, many content creators. And we are so thankful that Lono provides his music to the stream. I have permission to play this music. This music is not being hijacked. I'm not stealing copyrights. I'm not stealing the music the way some content creators when they use unauthorized tunes. These are all authorized tunes. So if you enjoy what you're hearing, you can literally support this artist directly by buying albums directly from him. It is the most probably ethical way to produce music, to procure music in this day and age. So I super, super, super encourage you to check out lonomusic.com for chords and lyric sheets that he's got for his music, and then also to purchase the albums that he's got. So let's see here. Hey, C Honda, good to see you. I didn't see you earlier, so I hope this is the first you're popping in. And let's see here. Vanilla Coke Pepsi, Florida is beautiful. You love the people there. You always want to visit again. You went once and tried gator. It was great. I still remember a headline that said hundreds of gun owners in Florida threatened to shoot Hurricane Irma down to stop it. Yeah, Yeah, that's definitely something Florida would do. But you guys, yeah, you guys were talking about gator earlier. Now, I've never tried gator, but my sister said that it tasted like chicken, but was just a little bit fishy. And then she also said something about how the meat was kind of orange looking. So, for those of you who've tried gator, is it orange? Is the meat orange? And does the meat sort of taste like fishy chicken? So, yeah. Okay, so Shock, you say it was white. Okay. I wonder what my sister ate. Let's see here. So, maybe I'm making that up, but I don't think I am. I don't think I'm making that up. Pocola tea, Gatorade is orange. I don't think that it was Gatorade she was talking about, because she said it tasted fishy. And you had a gator beignet. I feel like we've had this conversation before, but I always thought of beignets as like a sweet thing, not a savory thing. So the idea of like a gator beignet, which actually I think I'd like it, deep fried dough with meat, sign me up. But it just seems so weird to me, because it's like, no, dude, beignets, they have sugar. You don't eat that with meat. Because that's the rule I have, even though I'm not from New Orleans and shouldn't really make rules about their food. So let's see here. Wolfie Pack, it might have been the seasoning. I'd like to think my sister would have known that, but I also think you might be onto something. And Darlene, maybe like chicken, some dark meat, some lighter meat. Yeah, I don't know. Right, okay. That stands to reason. Oh well, I don't know. I kind of want to try gator, but I don't know. I mean, I kind of want to catch, or not catch, eat gator. I really, can you tell I'm kind of hesitant about the idea of eating it, even though I don't know why, because I'll eat fish, I'll eat chicken, I'll eat cow, I'll eat pig. I'd probably eat goat. I can't think of anything else I've eaten besides those time of things. So there you are. And so let's see here. It looks like I missed this earlier, but I'm going to go rewind and say, so Mariana, you're moving to Houston. You're moving to Houston, eh? Are you going to be continuing your schooling once you move to Houston? Or are you dropping out? Or are you already done or close to being done? Why did I think you're not almost done with college, are you? I feel like you need to tell, I feel like if you're in the mood, you need to tell us what your plans are. And if you're not in the mood, then don't tell us nothing, because it's really none of our business. That's what I feel. And let's see here. Pocola tea, gator might change color depending upon what baking sheet you use. That's the ticket right there. We have the answer. And okay, so I'm not making things up. Yes, you're getting your AA this December. Awesome. And then you're going to take the spring off and figure out your bachelor's in Texas. Perfect. Well, I don't know what you're planning on studying. I don't know what you plan on doing. I don't know what you're, but I can tell you that Houston, dude, they've got, Houston's going to be a place of good learning. Like, I don't know what tech you're going into, what field you're going into, what medical, what whateverness, agricultural, technical, medical, professional. Houston's got it all, baby. Yeah, that's right. I don't like Houston that much because the ants will attack you. I know this for a fact. But Mariana, you're already from an area where ants probably already attack you anyway, so that won't be a big shock for you. Me, on the other hand, seriously, you guys, this happened. So I'm walking along I'm with my friend who lives in Houston. We're walking along her apartment complex. walkways. She is on the sidewalk. I, being Pacific Northwestern stupid tree hugger, am on the grass, and I'm walking on the grass. And she says to me, I don't know if I'd be walking on the grass if I were you. At which point I say, why? She's like, well, and I look down, and one of my feet is covered with little ants. And then, literally, as soon as she was like, well, and I looked down, like at that moment, they all bit me all at once. They knew. They knew I was watching. They wanted to make sure I was watching before they bit. Now, before anybody asks, no, these were not fire ants. These were just little ants. And had I not looked down in time, they probably would have crawled up my leg and gotten in my pants, and then I would have had ants in my pants. But yeah, seriously, dude. I don't like the ants in Houston. That's why Houston sucks. I don't like the ants. So there. And so let's see here. It looks like Mariana's got plans in Houston because her husband is about to start his final internship before graduation and already secured a job with it. Perfect. And Mariana still doesn't have most of it figured out, but you're getting there. Well, actually, here's the deal, darling. Let me just tell you a little word to the wise. The fact that you know that you haven't gotten it all figured out yet is probably as figured out as you're ever gonna get. So, you might be more figured out than you know. And let's see here. Wolfie Pack, you've tried cougar, huh? Never again? I don't know, dude. I feel like that would be a lean piece of meat, a little bit tough. I know nothing of what a cougar would be like, but Darlene's like, I bet it was tough. They're a muscular animal. And yeah, let's see here. And Wolfie Pack Gaming is saying it was a homemade burger, looked like beef, smelled a little like bacon, and tasted very gamey. Yeah, I'm not really surprised, you know. Yeah. And let's see here. Oh, wow. Hold on. Wait. Mariana, what are you talking about? Your closest family members? Ty's brother and his family are moving to Washington in a week. I'd love to follow them eventually. Now, when you say Washington, do you mean D.C. or the state? Because if they're coming to Washington State, well, shoot, I might, have some things that they can do and stuff. I can go tell them how to live their life, or maybe what they should do. Well, oh, Mariana, okay. So, you're so close yet so far. All right, so Portland is actually in Oregon, which is the next state lower than us. And there's a river, the Columbia River, between Washington and Oregon. However, he might have a job in Portland, but they're moving to Washington, maybe, is what I'm thinking. Because Portland and then Vancouver, Washington. Well, hold on, wait, Mariana, hold on, wait. Portland and Vancouver, Washington are essentially one city. They're obviously not. They're two different cities in two different states. But they're so big and they have connected and they're so business oriented. You can see what I'm talking about with my fingers, right? That's what they are. Anyway, Vancouver, Washington, and Portland, Oregon are essentially one thing. So yeah, they might be working in Portland, but moving to Vancouver or vice versa, whatever. So yeah, see, you knew what you were talking about. You didn't know you knew, but you knew. There you have it, Vancouver. I knew it was a city that shared a name with a different city. Exactly. Yeah, so Vancouver. I've got some friends in Vancouver. And yeah, Vancouver, Washington, beautiful place. A little bit warmer than where I live in the Puget Sound Basin, further north. But definitely, but by their Florida standards, they are gonna be freezing. They're gonna be oh so cold. And that's my song that I have for them. They're gonna be freezing. And Shock, you've got to head on out. Well, thank you so much for coming in and throwing down the shout outs. Thank you so much for setting up the shout outs. Thank you so much for doing the moderationist, banning, and whateverness. And thank you. That's right. And e-music. Yeah, my finger map. It's clear, right? You know, it's like the itsy bitsy spider. It's my finger map. Can't be clearer, right? Let's see here. And Darlene is saying that Oahu has plenty of bugs too, plus scorpions and centipedes. They have scorpions on Hawaii? Seriously? I mean, I'm not actually arguing. I'm not arguing. What? Hawaii people, really? They have... I've never heard of scorpions on... centipedes. Oh, heck yeah. But scorpions? There's scorpions? There's scorpions on Hawaii? Really? And, Pecola T, Vancouver is practically a large suburb of Portland. Don't tell Vancouverites that, though. Seriously, though. No, seriously, dude. That's exactly it. Pecola T nailed the nail on the head. Vancouver and Portland are one unit, despite the fact that that a river runs between the two and they're in two different states. They are one unit. And Eva Beach has little sand scorpions. I had no idea. And then, Mariana, you guys, honestly, I always just associated scorpions with hot and dry climates. So Florida has scorpions too? I mean, not the heavy metal band, because, you know, they might tour and hit Florida. I'm talking about the little bugs, and so are you. Florida has scorpions, and Hawaii has scorpions. I had no idea. Right. Some of you guys learned some things about orcas today. I learned some things about scorpions today. You might have learned it too. We're learning together. That's awesome. Okay, so now you scorpion people, are the scorpions in Hawaii and or Florida, are they like the ones in Arizona where the bigger the scorpion, the less poisonous they are? Because I know that like in Arizona, you know, they've got the really big ones and they're freaky, but if you get bit, you're probably not going to be dead. You're just going to be in pain. But then they've got these tiny ones. And if they bite you, yeah, you might die. So like the smaller the scorpion is, the more powerful the venom is, I guess. And so I'm just wondering, is it like that in Hawaii too? And is it like that in Florida too? Or, okay, so Wolfpack Gaming, they're harmless and small, but their sting will still hurt. Okay, so even though they're small, they're not like the Arizona small ones that are like, oh yeah, they're gonna just kill you. If they're tiny, you're dead. So okay. And e-music, bad bugs are getting into Hawaii on all islands. Yeah, I guess, but just scorpions, like, I mean, yeah, you're right. You know, with shipping and with this and that, you know, you get the spiders that accidentally came in with the bamboo and you get the whatever. I guess, but, And, Pecola T, you don't think I will meet any scorpions when I'm visiting Oahu unless I'm overnight camping at the beach? No, I will not be overnight camping at the beach. On purpose. Now, if I get super wasted and drunk and pass out on the beach, I'll sleep there all night. Well, that's one thing. Probably won't do that, but that would be the closest I would get to camping on the beach. And Mariana, you're like, I don't think the ones here kill anybody, but I'm not totally sure, so no quote me. Okay, I can live with that. And let's see here. Darlene, you've never personally had a confrontation with a scorpion, nor have I, and nor do you want to. Right, exactly. So let's see here. C Honda, in Hawaii, are they more scared of centipedes than scorpions? Well, obviously, I don't know, but I would be more afraid of a centipede than a scorpion from what it sounds like. And Pecola T, Centipedes, definitely. Yeah, okay. Let's see here. Ah, that's so cute, Mariana. First time I saw a scorpion in Florida, when I was a kid, we were coming back into the classroom after recess, and there was one under my friend's desk. We all ran out screaming, I approve of that action. Not that I have any say in what you did or didn't do as a young child, but I approve of that action. So, let's see here. Yeah, Darlene, like I was saying, Darlene, you make a great point, C. Honda, says Darlene. The centipedes are pretty scary from what I've seen. Honestly, I don't ever remember ever seeing a centipede. That doesn't mean I haven't. I just don't remember. But I do know that even as a kid, the centipede, like, always on the lookout for the centipedes when you're rustling through the bush and this, that, and t'other. And I don't really ever want to ever see one. And Picola T, if you need to smash a centipede, you need a hammer to kill it with. Then the centipede. Oh wait, hold on. If you need to smash a centipede with a hammer to kill it, then centipede is worse than a scorpion. So wait, do you need to? Are you saying you need a hammer to kill a centipede? Because the centipedes are like just that tough with their exoskeleton? Is that what I'm hearing you say? Because I don't like that. I mean, I'll bet you're, I think that's what you're saying, but I don't like that. Let's see here. Mariana, am I right here when I imagine northern states? I imagine they're much safer and relatively venomous, scary creature free. Honestly, I cannot say that about all the northern states. I truly don't know because I think there are some northern states. Well, for instance, the eastern part of Washington state, we have rattlesnakes. But the west part of Washington, on the west side of the mountains where I live, where it's wet and not dry, we don't have rattlesnakes. We don't have any snakes that are venomous. I think... And then we don't have any spiders, native spiders that are venomous. We do have an occasional brown recluse, and they can cause issues, but they're not deadly to most folk. Immunocompromised people who are already severely ill, blah, blah, blah. Aside from that, like the venom in a brown recluse, it can mess you up, but it's not gonna kill you. I want to say that the brown recluse is kind of on the west side of the mountains, the worst thing you're gonna run across. We just don't we don't have cockroaches unless you live in a really old and gross building. Cockroaches are few and far between of any size. The ants that we have here will, carpenter ants will eat the wood from your house. And the little sugary ants, they stink when you squish them. But none of our bugs are particularly violent or aggressive. No, the Pacific Northwest has some of the most chill, creatures. Honestly, I think the brown recluse and the yellow wasp, the yellow jacket wasp, which is everywhere. I think those are like our two biggest, ow, don't, get away from me, don't touch me kind of thing. West of the mountains, Washington and Oregon are pretty mild for creepy crawlies. And, Darlene is saying Wisconsin has the brown recluse too, and some kind of big hairy one, I think called a wolf spider. Oh, we have wolf spiders here too, but wolf spiders will freak you the flying fork out. They're huge, they're big, they're hairy, but they're not going to bother you. They're not going to bite you, and even if they did bite you, probably not going to hurt you too much. They're really not that bad. Mariana, I swear Florida must be the Australia of this. I think it is. And and Rick, you found carpenter ants in your cabin one year. You knew they were carpenter ants because of all the tiny beer cans they left laying around. some of them might have had little, some of them might have been doing little lines of cocaine too. On Fridays though, only on Fridays. Cocaine carpentry on Fridays is what my my former carpentry friends used to refer to it. Yeah, exactly, Mariana. Wolf spiders are big and scary, but totally harmless. Absolutely, absolutely. There really isn't, other than your own fear, there is nothing really to be afraid of when it comes to the wolf spiders. And so let's see here. Rick, your carpenter ants, but I never saw them during the workday. Oh, Rick, you are funny. You are a funny one. And right, Darlene, you're right. Not venomous, but scary. Totally. Yeah, without a doubt. But let's see. I think really one of the freakiest things that we have in Washington, and you're really not going to see it very often, is this thing called a rubber boa. It's a boa constrictor, bona fide real life boa constrictor. And it's the northernmost boa constrictor species you're going to find. But it's a black snake, but it has like really loose skin, which I guess has something to do with regulating their temperature in such a cold climate. I don't know enough about them, but I do know that they look like, when you see them on the side of the road, they almost look like they're just like a deflated bike tire inner tube kind of thing. But yeah, that's like probably the scariest snake on the west side. And that's, and those rubber boas don't really get to be, I think, more than 4 or 5 feet long. I mean, they're not like they're the pythons. I know pythons aren't native to Florida, but they've got an issue in Florida with the pythons. I mean, it's not like they're, not like big enough that they're going to eat somebody. But I think that's the scariest, freakiest snake that we have on the west side. I mean, we have a lot of garter snakes, and they'll make your hands all stinky if you pick them up. But, and, oh, good God, Mariana, no, I don't know what the scariest thing in Florida is, but at night you can see dozens of eyes glowing in the lakes. Yeah, that's about as freaky can get. I've seen pictures that are like that, where it's just like, are you telling me those are all crocodiles? Or maybe they're alligators? Or maybe they're crocodiles and alligators? Those are all the eyes of those things in the water like that? Oh, I've seen those pictures, and those pictures freak me out. I can't even imagine being there in real life, knowing that I'm on the shore and they're in the water and they have legs. They can get up on the shore. They could come after me if they really wanted to. No, thank you. No, thank you. And Mariana, yes, in the Everglades, huge problem with the pythons. They've eaten alligators. Wow. And I don't live near the Everglades, though, and I'm thankful for that. Heck yeah, dude. Heck yeah. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. I mean, the Everglades is an amazing ecosystem. I'm so happy that Florida does what it does to try to keep it as natural as it is. But it's got some critters. And you refuse to swim in lakes there. I thought the oceans were safe until I learned about saltwater crocodiles. Well, okay, so okay. Wow. All right. So why did I have it in my head that saltwater crocodiles were only in Australia? They don't have saltwater crocodiles in Florida, I thought, right? I thought hey, big boy shark, I cannot do a flip, but thanks for coming in on the chat. We're talking about scary things in the Everglades right now. And Mariana, okay, actually, it's 6:30, so we're going to have to wrap this up. Before we wrap this up, I really have to know, Mariana, are there saltwater crocs in Florida? Because Oh, I didn't know that. And no, I don't want that to be true. So we're going to find out whether or not there's saltwater crocs in Florida, hopefully. And then we're going to wrap that up. But there are, she says, unfortunately, yes, mostly in South Florida, in salt and brackish water. Well, I guess South Florida just needs to... Can we just cut South Florida off and put it to Australia? And just go, you clearly belong with your Australian cousins, you know? The Australians, they have the saltwater crocs. How about you all go live there? How about that? How about that? Yeah, exactly. Kohola T, I'm sticking to swim pools next time I'm in Florida. You better believe it. E-music, all bragging. No sharks in the lake here. Probably only turtles. Yep, you got it. Okay, so now that we've found out that Australia is scary, but so is Florida, which if you didn't know that before, now you know. Florida is almost as scary as Australia. Saltwater crocodiles. Okay, we've learned a lot today about pans, about whales, about crocs. Other stuff too, I'm sure. Centipedes needing a hand or a hammer. And, something else. Scorpions. We learned about scorpions. We learned a lot of things today. And so, in order to make up for what we all learned today, we're going to get stupid on Saturday, where we won't learn anything, but we'll learn how to laugh. So, 6 p.m., Statterbox at the Cinema, 6 p.m. West Coast time, Statterbox at the Cinema. Hope you can join everybody, and we'll watch that movie and chatter in the chat and talk about how stupid the movie is and how stupid you feel because you can't stop laughing at how stupid it is. And that's right, the chatter does sure scatter here at Chatter with Statter. Thanks so much for hanging out. I will see you next Sunday for another who knows what topic we'll explore. All right then, take care everybody.